Hey everybody, John Van Dyke here from New Jersey Exposed. Today is Friday, April 9th, 2021. Time is somewhere around 6:30 p.m. And yes, you know, it's Jersey time. I'm not anywhere else. And to be specific where I am down here at the recreation field in Tintin Falls. That's right, I can't go to my other place right at the moment, but I can come here. So anyway, I just want to thank everybody out there for all the support, the views, the emails, the expressing yourself on Tintin Falls Facebook page. It's the pressure's on with them, and I want to say it's very sad to see what is going on with Tintin Falls Police. I will elaborate in another video as to some of the things that are not going on that should be going on, and they're not. And it's very sad because I grew up in Tintin Falls. It's a town that I know very well. I moved out in '78, but I always keep coming back to my happy places and always drive through and enjoy looking and seeing the changes taking place. And it's very sad. So anyway, I have a special guest here who is going to elaborate or pontificate or bloviate, whatever you want to call it, but he's going to offer his opinion on the situation. I'm sure you guys remember this character here, the one and only Matt Tim. Take it over, Matt.
Thanks, John. When I came home, it's been a while, folks. When I came home, though, on Easter Sunday, and I looked at my YouTube stream, and I saw the headline, "Dog Killer Cop Tries to Ruin My Easter Sunday." And I witnessed what John went through at Monmouth Regional High School. I was taken aback a bit. And regardless of how you feel about myself or John Van Dyke, we're American citizens. We live in a country where we're protected by the federal Constitution and the Bill of Rights, okay? And what happened that day should have never happened in America. At least not America in 2021. You had a man, a seemingly innocuous man, middle-aged, at a recreational facility, which is public property, which was public property. I'm sorry, but I don't buy that school property constitutes private property. It's public property subject to regulation. You had him out there on public property, minding his own business, not creating any trouble for anybody. And then you have the one and only Tintin Falls police officer, Adrian Reyes, who pulls up to the scene, never articulates what his business is out there with Mr. Van Dyke, never offers an explanation as to how he got out there to deal with Mr. Van Dyke. He's simply there. And when John asks him, what is he being detained for? Mr. Reyes never says this is school property and you're not allowed to trespass on school property.
He said, "I've got your license, don't I?" When I asked him, "Am I being detained?" He goes, "I got your license, don't I?"
Exactly. The mere unprofessionalism and the childish, impish behavior that Officer Reyes exhibited that day has me concerned that we're allowing somebody like that to run around with a gun. Just a little bit. Okay, folks? But he didn't articulate a basis for why he was dealing with Mr. Van Dyke. And instead, he exchanged this back and forth. He called Mr. Van Dyke an instigator. Really, do we hire police officers and pay them $150,000 a year to act like 12-year-olds on a playground? What do you think about that one, Johnny?
Well, he certainly looks like a 12-year-old.
I wonder if Officer Reyes has went through puberty yet. Well, that's another story for another time. But the problem is, okay, so he did his childish stunt. So then John did the correct, rational thing that any normal human being in his situation would do, which is what? You asked for a supervisor.
I asked for a supervisor because I feared for my safety because this man is not stable in my opinion. He has a history of pulling his gun out very quickly and using it. He shot 2 dogs. Then he shot the dogs more than one time, and he killed. Now, I know the video is not about him shooting the dog, but it's all part of his mental makeup. And combine that with the fact that I confronted him with some uncomfortable questions approximately 2 years ago at Tinton Falls Community Day, that this man is reasonable to assess this man has an axe to grind with me. I'm lucky I walked out of that thing alive. I'm lucky that when I got out with the camera handy, he didn't use that as an excuse to shoot me. I'm lucky I didn't get arrested because he wants to get retribution. It's human nature for psychopaths to do that kind of behavior.
Here, let's put it like this. I think that judging by his behavior and his body language and the way that he carried himself that day, you would agree, John, that this is not somebody that should be a police officer. Officer Rios.
He is, in my opinion, and I'm still sticking here as well, we're going to give him more training. How much training are you supposed to give an idiot? You can't fix a special kind of stupid.
That's right.
So, no, not training. He already, right out of the box, I don't think he was an officer 2 years, right out of the box, and he's caused a big problem for this town, which I will be enlightening the world about that in the very near future once we get all the information in. But no, he's somebody that should be, he shouldn't have been promoted past a class 1, in my opinion. He's probably qualified to do tickets. And to have that guy show up, it was a perfect storm. And some of you people out there say, well, I should have this, I should have that. But you got to understand, when you're in that situation, you may be in a life or death situation with somebody like that. And, yeah, I could have ramped it up a lot more with him. But my opinion at that point there was, I want to get out of here alive. In one piece. I don't want to have to go to the hospital. Let's get a supervisor over here.
You want to leave with your life, your car, your possessions
Right,
intact.
exactly. And I don't want to be handcuffs on me, all that. And some of you people that say, oh, you ID'd, you're ID'd. Listen, they already know who I am. And I'm on somebody else's property, public property. My vehicle is there. I don't want to have to press the issue, am I under arrest? Well, I'm not giving it to you until I'm under arrest. And next thing you know, he arrests you. Because remember, people, it costs a cop nothing to arrest you.
Cost you everything.
Costs me everything. It means I'll get arrested, the car will be impounded, and it's a big headache. And so since they already know me, I'm not there on a First Amendment audit. It's just a random thing that happened. I wasn't there looking for any trouble.
Yeah.
So yeah, I gave him the license. Look, shut this guy up, let's get rid of him.
So then he acts like a total idiot and imbecile, Officer Rios.
Right, because I asked him, I says, what is the problem? Well, you're here without purpose. Well, who are you to decide what the purpose is? I told you what my purpose. I got out of the van, I had a hamburger in my hand.
He never once articulated the fact that that property was not to be used except without school permission. Did he ever say that?
And he never specifically stated, hey, the Board of Ed told us nobody's to be on this property today. No, none of that. It's just like, in his opinion, well, you're here without purpose. Why are you here? You're not playing baseball, so I have to be involved in baseball or recreational activity. Well, my recreational activity after I just ate 1,000 calories from McDonald's is to go for a walk.
So fast.
You're getting me going.
Fast forward. Well, that's what we do to each other. What do you want me to tell you? Okay, but then John asked for a supervisor, and then we have a gentleman who shows up, who may be.
We got the Cisco Kid shows up. Corporal Cisco Kid, you remember that guy?
Hello, sir. What's
Cisco Kid shows up. I can't figure out whether he put a jacket on or before he pulled up close, because he didn't pull up right next to the car. He was back about 50, 70 feet away from us. He must have been quickly in there pulling off his badge and his name tag and all this crap. And it's like, oh, Lord, I got to get this stuff. Oh, my heart disease me. It's that man up there holding mackerel. See, it's like, I got freaking Frack shows up. I got Dumb and Dumber. Obviously, the two of these idiots, and that's what they are, idiots. It's
badge number 43, right?
Yeah. Officer, what is your name? Excuse me? I said, what is your name? Huh? What is your name?
You sure he wasn't confusing?
I'm Officer Badge 43. Well, that's an interesting name. Where are you from?
Are you sure he wasn't confusing his badge number with his IQ?
I would think he has a higher IQ than that. I mean, even Rios has got a higher IQ than that.
I hope so.
But anyway, you expect him to get a supervisor. I get a corporal. I got to tell you, I was disappointed. I got a corporal.
Who never identified himself as a corporal either.
Right. I only know he's a corporal because I know that 2 stripes is a corporal, which is just one. It's just a half a step above a
Patrolman.
A patrolman. It's just like, oh, you've been here 5 years. I'm gonna give you an extra stripe.
You're a good guy. Here's your 2
You're a good guy, you know. But you know what? Those corporals are getting about $150,000.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I looked up the salaries on some of them.
That's 12 grand a
So
month.
anyway, this officer, you know, Cisco, I'll refer to him as Corporal Cisco Kid shows up. You know, and I was social distancing. I kept probably 8 feet away from him, and he's got, you know, Mr. Cisco Kid there.
And
Don't want to give me no information.
And then when you mentioned to the supervisor that Officer Ray has never articulated a basis as to why you could not be there.
No, I stated to him, I said, he's making an arbitrary decision as to what can be done out of here and what can be done.
right.
Well, who are you to decide that? You're just a road cop. You're going to decide what activity is acceptable on public property.
That's right.
Doesn't work that way.
That's right. That's right. And then he goes into this. Then Officer Cisco Kid goes into this huge spiel about how he was a former school resource officer at Monmouth Regional High School, and
yeah.
those kids have permission to be there, but Mr. Van Dyke doesn't. Well, you know what? Somewhere down the line, we're gonna verify, or we're gonna look into the veracity of that statement as well. But as it stands right now, we're done being screwed with. We're done allowing this type of crap to go under the radar and everybody say, okay, no harm, no foul. I don't think so. So what me and John, my compadre, are working on right now is an official internal affairs complaint
Oh, there's a complaint coming.
about the conduct of Officer Adrian
yeah.
Reyes. And the first thing that I mentioned the first thing that we're working on in the complaint is the failure to articulate a basis for approaching and detaining a citizen. Okay, when Mr. Reyes encountered John Van Dyke, he asked to leave the school property. He never stated, like I said, that trespassing was not allowed on the
The
Monmouth
word
Regional High School.
trespassing was never brought up.
No,
Never brought up.
at no time.
He said, you're here on the school property, and that's why I want you off, because you're on school property. You're here without purpose, though I gave him a purpose. I gave him 2 purposes. I don't know how many more purposes one has to have. What do we got? We got to litigate purpose? What is the meaning of purpose? Well, I submit this to you.
What's an
What is your
acceptable
purpose,
purpose?
Riaz?
Do you think he would have
It
left
costs
us?
taxpayers money?
Do you think he would have left us alone if we had a checkerboard out there and we were playing checkers? Is that a legitimate purpose in his view? You think? Or no?
Here's the deal, people. And I'm going to shut up and let Matt talk after
No,
this.
no, I'm enjoying this.
If Riaz had pulled up to me and he figured out who it was because I came out with a camera, he was smart enough to connect the dots. Okay, I brought the camera out because I'm going to document this. I know this is a volatile situation. If he just said, look, we saw you on the cameras come in with your vehicle. If the school's closed today, I got dispatched. I don't know if it's true. I'm just making a presumption.
But if he was professional and clear
Right.
and
We
articulate.
just said, we saw you on the cameras, a van come in, you went to the back. This is not typical behavior. Even though the lot that I went to is the parking lot for the rear fields. He just said, we came by, I'm coming by just to see who you are so I can get your license, talk to you for a second. So if there is a problem, we can identify you and call you back. Have a nice day. And you know what? I'd have been fine with that. There would have been no problem. But this crap that all of a sudden, because I'm not hitting a baseball bat, a ball, somehow my need to be there is less valuable than the others. Everybody has different recreational needs. I go out there for physical exercise. I go out there for mental relaxation.
I want to interrupt you for a second,
ahead.
John.
I'm
What
done.
encroachment were you even having on any school activity at that time?
None, because it was Easter Day and the school was closed. There was no activities going out there. There are soccer teams that come out there, private soccer teams that come out and use those fields. There is after-school baseball for kids, young teens that come out there in the summer hours. So this school is used for many different events. And I'll finish it up with I know I said this before, but I'll finish it up with this. Yes, there is a no trespassing sign on the main entrance. It's been there for 50 years. Believe me on it. It's the same sign that's been there for 50 years. There's another one on the auxiliary exit, a no trespassing sign. But this no trespassing has never ever been enforced. I've been back there. The amount of times I've ever had an officer come back there can be counted on my 5 fingers. See, I got 5 fingers. You verify that, 5 fingers? And I've never had a problem with any officers. In fact, the last officer I encountered last summer while I was recording a video, was Corporal Grimm, who came back. He yelled out my name. He smiled. I stopped what I was doing. I went over to the car. We BS for about 5 minutes. We had a nice conversation. And I said, have a nice day, Corporal. And he says, you have a nice day too, Gunnison. We'll see you later. And that was it. Now, I want to say this. By telling people not to go out there, not that the school is even doing that, and I'm not inferring that they are, but when you have more eyes out there of people exercising, doing things, the opportunity for crime to take place drops.
Few and far between.
Because you have eyes out there. I already witnessed some teens go into one of the school buses one day. I don't know what they're doing. I recorded it. I privately sent that video over to Tinton Falls Police. If there's a problem with one of these buses, this is who went into your bus.
That's right. That's right.
So anyway, his reasoning of thought, it's just bizarre. It doesn't make sense, and that's it. My rights are being violated there. I was being violated as a person. I was being violated civilly, and this cop is out of control, and he needs to be dealt with, and we're going to deal with him. And I'll say
using the legal process. Using the legal process.
That's exactly right.
Using the legal process and every legal instrument at our disposal, this guy is going to be dealt with.
And what Rios doesn't realize, and they underestimated me, and I'm sure maybe Tinton Falls Police has underestimated me and who is behind me. You understand that there's a world of people behind me.
The Gunnison Nation.
People that I don't even know, they're there backing me up. This man is backing me up. I have a wealth of information of talented people behind me that will back me up on this.
100%.
100%, because if it can happen to me, it can happen to you.
Could happen to anybody.
And this is how you expose and train these bad cops, by exposing them and pulling them out on the carpet and making their supervisors hold them accountable. And I'll say this for the third time, the final thing. The problem starts at the top.
That's right.
Because when you get employed by somebody, you know what your boss is going to allow you to do and not do. And these officers do what they know they can get away with. Go ahead.
I agree 100% without any exception to what John just said. But, okay, most people don't realize that when you're unhappy with the behavior of a cop, you have a right, an absolute right, to file an internal affairs complaint. And our Attorney General, love him or hate him, Gernberg Grewal, has not been passive or has
He's
not...
been very proactive
Exactly.
in cleaning up the law enforcement. I'm not a fan of him either, but when it comes to the police, he is being very proactive, and I support him 100%.
He has taken a hard-line stand that police misconduct will not be tolerated.
You can now go online. The state has a thing. You go on there and you can find out what the use of force is with a particular cop. You don't have to go through NJ Media or anything like this. The state has it now. So you can find out what's going on. We're going to make these police more held accountable and more transparent. And by the way, Matt, what do you think would have happened if I didn't have that video of what took place and I tried to file a complaint? What do you think would happen?
I think that their video would have very conveniently disappeared or went missing.
Well, we don't even know if he stated he had it on, but this has yet to be proven, but we'll find that out in the Oprah request that somebody has requested, which is the video dash cam. Now, the video is not going to have me on it, but what it's going to have is the audio, because Rios has a body mic on him that records the conversation. And Rios already has a history of not turning his vehicle dash cam on, which cost him, a day of suspension?
1 day suspension,
How
yes.
convenient. He shoots 2 dogs and kills one, and oops, I forgot to turn the dash cam. I was so excited. I'm responding to a domestic call. I jumped out of the car. All right, freeze. Oh my God, it's a dog. The dog didn't follow my commands. Oops. Hey, dope ass. The dog doesn't understand English, and he doesn't understand it. See, the dog's got more balls than you, Rios. Okay, you're standing there with a gun. The dog's got more balls than you.
On that day, who do you think was more unprofessional, Rios or the Cisco
dogs?
kid? That day, who was more unprofessional?
I'm going to give that to Corporal Cisco Kid, because he has 4 stripes on his forearm, and that means he's been there 16 years. There's 4 years of stripe. Yep. So he has 16 years behind his belt. So he has the burden of being professional. Rios did what Rios does. Rios is an idiot in my opinion, okay? He's not competent to be a cop. He'd be better off selling ice cream.
I think he's on his way out of this.
Maybe working at Taco Bell or something like that. So he did what I expect him to do.
I think he's on his way out professionally. I think his career's on the downward
He's
spiral.
costing the town a lot of money, and we will expose that in the days to come. And now he just caused his chief another headache because, unlike the other people, I have the ability to transmit information, to expose, okay? That is my power. That is my wealth. The wealth that I have people to watch, that watch what goes on. And so far, as the way I see it, the one video has over 28,000 views on it now. The second one, I think, is at 17,000. So that's a lot of people that watched it.
In a way, we owe them a thank you because their unprofessionalism gave us a cause de celebre, okay? We have a cause to celebrate right now because right now, okay...
Well, they gave me exposure. I picked up 400 more subscribers, you know, and I can tell you, I'll just remind you people, I didn't get in my car that day to go bother anybody. It was a nice, warm Easter day, and I came down there just to relax and be alone because it's quiet out there. I didn't go down there to get in a melee with cops.
You were simply
Kenton Falls.
You were simply taking in the holiday. That's all
I
you're
was
doing.
just taking in the holiday because I don't have a family to gather.
Me neither, John. Me neither.
On these occasions. So to me, it's just like I just came down here to be with my thoughts, be with my memories, and go for a nice walk and finish up the day and head home. And here we are making a video. 25,000 views later, 28,000 views later. I guess by the end of the week, by Monday, it'll probably be up to 30,000. So I'm sure the whole world, a lot of people around the world have seen it. The state's seen it. All his gang members have seen it.
But more or less now, okay, Tinton Falls is not a big town. It's not Asbury Park. It's not Toms River, okay? It's a mid-sized town in Monmouth County.
But
Okay.
this town is made up. You have on the south end, you have the Seabrook Village, which is a big retirement village, and probably the bulk of the population is in that village there. The rest of it's just middle to slightly upper middle people. That's what it is in this town. It's just, you know, it's just a nice little town. It's growing. It's got growing pains. It's a lot bigger than what it was when I was here, but
Years ago, do you remember that gentleman? He was, I forget his name. I think his name was Vito. He was in his late 80s, early 90s, and he was elected to the mayorship in Tinton Falls. Do you know?
yes, there was an old guy. I remember. I met him.
Yep. He was prehistoric, but he was elected to the mayorship. Tinton Falls has a nonpartisan local government. But the point that I'm going to is, okay, there's going to be blowback from this, folks. Okay, there's already been easily 300 to 400 comments on the Tinton Falls Police Department Facebook page.
Well, there's been a lot of people that have made comments. They've on my videos alone. Each video's been hovering over 200 comments on it, and I read all of it, and most of it's all the same thing. And it's like, I'm not trying to direct these people or lead them as to how they want to think and what they say. They watch the video. That's the great thing about what happened here. This is a video that I took. It's a raw video. Nothing's been edited out. This is what happened. They can't rewrite the narrative, and
Doesn't take a law degree from Harvard or Rutgers to figure out what went on that day.
right. And you got to ask yourself, what else happens when this Rios guy is running around and there's no cameras watching, and you got this Barney Feifel guy out there who you should not allow him to have any bullets. Maybe give him blanks or
Better give him blank to start the potato sack ranks
give him
every
a
year, right?
bazooka gun. Remember, that's before your time, a bazooka gun. Just shoot the air out, I had a little plastic gun to shoot plastic pellets out the thing.
He should be transferred to the
So
rubber
you
gun
gotta ask
squad.
yourself, what else has this idiot done out there to violate? Most people are not like me. They're not like Matt Tim.
Yeah.
They're not like some of you people out there that know your rights and know how to stand up to a cop. And so, who else has he done this to? That's the scary part.
If he's capable of this, what else is he capable of?
Exactly.
That's the question. And when he is, and when stuff like this is perpetrated, okay? I mean, we look at how the system unifies in lockstep. That day, you had a cop that screwed up. You had a police supervisor who was doing everything and anything he could to avoid the camera lens and did not want to be recorded, even though he was clearly in public view and he's a public official.
My opinion is you had one cop that showed up, innocently showed up. When he realized who I was, it became a problem. So he's screwing with me. I pushed back. I didn't push back as hard as I could have pushed back.
You could have refused to give your ID.
I could have refused to do a lot of things, okay, but I didn't. So anyway,
and in a way, you were civil, and I have to thank you for that.
I was very civil, though I took a couple pot shots at him. But that's out of my frustration. Anybody knows me knows that I'm a nice guy. I'm a smiley, happy guy with people.
You're not a ball buster.
I'm not a ball buster.
No.
I don't like hurting people. I don't like being nasty to people. But you know what? There comes a time where you have to ramp it up and call people out on BS.
You have to draw the line
now,
somewhere.
as far as the other officer, his downside is one, concealing his identity and taking all his identification off his uniform, and that's going to be his downfall. That's what's going to cause him a headache.
And he didn't even identify himself as the supervisor. He said badge number 43.
Yeah, he got out of the car, he stretched his legs and whatever he did, and looked around, make sure he didn't have any IDs. But it's silly. I mean, why would you not identify yourself? I'm going to find out sooner or later. I'm going to get a copy of the officer's report, assume there is one, and he's going to be on that. And even if he doesn't, I could always send her an OPA request and find out who badge 43 is.
He didn't even pull up to the scene, John. He stayed like 60 or 70 feet.
He was about 75 feet away from me. And who knows? How do I know he was badge 43? I don't know that.
No.
I don't know who he is. All I know is he was a man of his skin color was of a brown tint, and he had a mask over face and reminded me of Cisco Kid.
And he thought he was a very smooth talker, which he was not.
Right.
And should we tell him about the other incident where the so-called watch commander?
No, that's going to be a separate video that we're going to put out because I made some phone calls and we're going to expose that. And we're going to build a case as to what's going on with Tinton Falls Police.
But right now,
and Matt's going to finish up with what he has to say.
This is the preliminary copy of an official internal affairs complaint, which will be submitted in the case of Officer Adrian Riaz regarding his actions that day, and
there'll be one coming by. Corporal Cisco Kid's going to get one too.
Yeah.
And we're going to find out what they're going to do.
I mean, I think that there's going to be a lot of blowback in this town if there's not already.
Well, you know what? For all the videos that I've done, I've always pretty much left Tinton Falls alone. It's a town I come through. It's a town I grew up in. I navigate through here. Like to hang out in my nice areas that I like to go. So for the most part, I try to leave them alone.
And you've never regarded it as a pirate town,
right?
Ever.
And Matt was chastised for me for that. He says, "Oh, you know," I said, "Well, I never see him doing anything." And you know, Riaz, all I did, I obviously did a story on him, but I believe it was on my other channel, Gunnison Undercover, and I knew that he had shot a dog, and I saw him that day at Tinton Falls Community Day.
With his girlfriend and his dog?
I don't know if that was the girlfriend. I'm assuming it is, the one on the leash.
Which one?
So anyway,
yeah.
I see the name Riaz. Wait a second, that name means something to me, and I went and I Googled it real quick on my phone. I said, oh, that's the guy that shot the dog. So I asked him a few questions because one of the things that bugs me and pisses me off that these cops go out and do stupid shit that costs the taxpayers money, and they're never held accountable because there's qualified immunity.
That's right.
So they get away with it, and it's like, so what did I ask him? How much did you cost the taxpayers so far because you killed the dog?
That made him go ding, ding,
I mean, it's an uncomfortable question, but it's a legitimate question. I didn't go up there, hey, you dog killer, you stupid jerk, you killed that dog. What are you, a pussy?
And the way that Officer Riaz even handled that encounter was cause for alarm. A little bit. I mean,
yeah, because he didn't know who I was, I was asking, well, first of all, I got the camera pointing at him, so that just put him into, the red zone.
Yeah. What I am going to say, and I'm going to leave it like this, folks, okay? This type of crap should not be going on in 2021 in the United States. But it is. We're addressing it via the internal affairs complaint that we're working on. And I cannot wait until we get some kind of communication or feedback back from
Yeah, I'll leave you this with the teaser. Tinton Falls Police is ignoring me and giving me the runaround. I'm John Van Dyke from New Jersey Exposed.
Matt Tim.
I will put the contact information in the description. I would encourage people to call over there at Tinton Falls, go to their Facebook page and express yourself. Be professional. Do not say nasty things. You're representing.
Call the chief's office.
Call the chief. He's got a number right there on the website that says you got a problem. Call us. Call up with it. You can call him. He'll probably get the answer machine because he's not going to just pick it up. That's just how they are. Till next time, people.